And you're live. All right. So, good evening, everyone, and a sermon of the day live for the 7th of January 2018. G and Mindy here again. To recap, our theme of the week was we were talking about heaven, Garden Eden, and paradise. And do we really know how to get to heaven? You know, and everything was going to lead up to that. So on the first day of the year, January 1st, I decided I was going to take that day off and actually spend time with just going back into my thoughts and going back through old videos and just, you know, seeing my progression of last year in 2016, well, 2 years ago now, during my my awakening, and then going into last year with kind of my mission spiritual journey is walking across America, and then leading into now transitioning into this year in really finding out where where we're going to go with the ministry. So if we start looking at, the first day when I started to talk about the theme about heaven, and the very first day 2, we started talking about what does heaven look like? Now, that to me has always been a puzzling question because, I always wonder, people describe it, but, no one has ever really been there that's here. Mm-hmm. Right?
Well, that's a matter of discussion too.
Right, it is. It is a discussion. I'd love to find somebody and we can talk to them about it. But the reality is, you have to take someone's word of account. It's sort of like the way life is now. Like, you have to take the word of account of somebody. For someone to tell us that the sun, that the world was flat at one time, people took that word of account, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, the sun's not. The world's not. Sun does not rise and fall, and so it's like, oh my gosh, those things keep turning over. So what does heaven look like? That's a huge question for me, and I think that puzzles a lot of people. It's almost like Santa Claus.
Even the idea of possibly having been there before, let's just disregard that for a minute.
Okay.
In this flesh, we don't know the answer to that, and we won't know the answer to that until we go.
No,
we can have glimpses, we can have ideas, we can have feelings of what we feel like it might be like, because that's, kind of where it comes from, but we don't know.
Yeah, and I just want to tell you guys, we had an opportunity to go to a church service today here in Claremore, Oklahoma, and we got to meet with Pastor Jamie Willis and his congregation, and they were celebrating their 1-year anniversary from becoming a Southern campus. Southern satellite church to their Methodist practice, and in just meeting with him, we're gonna set up a time, hopefully within this week, to go over and really identify, the Garden Eden, heaven and paradise. Where does that all link in biblically? So when people are looking well, spiritually I feel it's this way. Scientifically, I'm kind of told it's something like this, but then the reality of it is, biblically, you describe it as this. How do all those things meet? So I'm hoping that we'd be able to get him on and be able to talk a little bit, a little bit further detail. So you have anything else to add to day 2 discussion?
I don't know what it looks like.
So day 3, have we been to heaven, and if so, are we with God? Now, you just sat there and say, well, I haven't. Now, but the question
I haven't that I can recall from this flesh.
Right, okay.
Now, there's beliefs and, things we talked about, whether or not you're back and you're going again and whatnot. And so, yeah, I have an idea, but I don't know, because I just have feeling.
Yeah, and I think the question is are we there with God? Because I think one of the most powerful